Pan-African payment company Cellulant is partnering with Mastercard to allow millions of its customers across Africa to shop and pay online with global merchants wherever Mastercard is accepted. The Mastercard virtual payment solution, linked to Cellulant's payment gateway Ting, can unlock a host of opportunities for consumers, whether they have a bank account or not. Consumers will be able to shop from well-known global digital commerce brands, paying quickly and securely for leisure, shopping, travel, accommodation, entertainment, streaming services, and more, while in their home countries or traveling abroad. We have, of course, with us Akshay Grover, who is the Group Chief Executive Officer of Cellulant. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Good evening to you. How long was this partnership with Mastercard in the making? Was the idea hatched early this year, or had it been in the pipeline for longer?
Good evening. Thank you for hosting me, firstly. With Mastercard, we've been having this conversation for some time now, close to over a year. So it's been something that the teams collectively have been working together to bring to market. I'm very happy and pleased to say that we've been able to launch the services in Kenya day before yesterday, and we expect to launch it in 6 more countries in the coming days.
Great stuff. Can you talk about the Ting, how your Ting wallet works with other companies in order to collaborate to make the payment gateway accessible?
So today, the way it would work is that Ting would be an accepted, it is essentially an application on the mobile phone where you have access to where you can create a virtual card. So at the press of a button, you would be able to create a virtual card of your own. You would then be able to top up that virtual card from any payment or store of value. It could be a mobile wallet, it could be a bank account, any store of value. You would be able to move money from your bank account or your mobile money into the card. And then you would have the flexibility to use that card for any services where Mastercard is acceptable. In order to make this happen, Ting integrates very closely with Mastercard, their systems and protocols. And after that, we are integrated or are available as a card, Mastercard, on any website where commerce is executed.
Great stuff. Well, what are the benefits of virtual cards for users that don't have bank accounts?
I mean, a lot of benefits, but I think one of the key things you would have observed in most African markets is that, subscription services, all subscription services, and increasingly a lot of what we consume is subscription, from Microsoft Word to Netflix, to Amazon Prime Video, to Adobe. I mean, just name it. Everything is a subscription today. So I think one of the challenges that you have with mobile money operators and payments is that it's not possible to define, in most cases, an auto debit. Yeah. So one of the things that a virtual card solves for is enables customer to register a card, which enables subscriptions to be automatically debited to the user every month or every period, whatever the periodicity of that is. So one aspect of it is subscription. The second aspect is that we aren't the first guys to do virtual cards. I think you might already know that there are already virtual card products in the market. But most of those virtual cards tend to be US dollar denominated or for international transactions. And we wanted to create a card where it is denominated in local currency. So in Kenyan shillings and Ugandan shillings, in Nigerian naira and the Ghanaian cedi, and so on and so forth, where consumers can make payments in local currency of their choice at whether domestic or international transactions.
Great stuff. I want to show you some data here from 2018 from the International Labour Organization, ILO. Africa has the highest rate of informal employment in the world. Does this present, or what kind of opportunity does this present to payment platforms like yourself with respect to capturing more SMEs?
I mean, we view SME as one of the most fundamental sectors that we are attacking now as we speak. In fact, a lot of these cards could be used by individuals, but actually these individuals are running small and medium businesses and enterprises, right, in reality. And so we feel that a big chunk of employment generation in Africa actually happens through this segment. A big chunk of GDP, anywhere between 40 and 60%, is generated by small and medium businesses. And that is one of the key reasons why it is such an important target segment for Cellulant.
I want to read a quote from your press release that announced the partnership with Mastercard. It says, consumers increasingly expect access to a broader range of online offers and digital financial services. The majority of these consumers obtain goods and services from micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. Africa today has about 100 million MSMEs, but less than 5% of their transactions are digitized. Do you have the potential here to capture a lot of new users, and why do you think the digitization rate is so low in the first place?
I think digitization is at two levels, for SMEs. It is what percentage of their transactions are conducted online. So that's one portion. And then the second portion is what percentage of the transactions are conducted offline. But even offline, there is an opportunity. By offline, I mean in person at the store, right? I think even at the store, there is tremendous opportunity to digitize. Kenya, which is so heavily digitized, still has almost 40% of transactions in cash. And when you start going to other countries, which are where mobile money proliferation is relatively lower, you would find that cash is still 60, 70, even 80%, depending on the country, right, as a means of payment. So this is one of the reasons why we believe that digitizing cash, whether it is through virtual cards or through other payment options which Ting offers, is the only way to be able to enable SMEs to ride the digital adoption.
And as far as that digital adoption is concerned, are you, as part of the private sector, taking on that responsibility yourself to close the gap, or does government have a role here, or is it a collaboration between you two?
I think the private sector would always have to work with the support of the government and the regulators. And I think the regulators in Africa are really doing a phenomenal job now of being very proactive in defining frameworks, in looking at models which have been used in some of the developed markets, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. And I think to my mind, this whole framework setting and encouraging players like ourselves to innovate for the end consumer and for businesses is what the role of the government would be.
We are in the 11th, well, actually, we're approaching the 11th month of the year, which will be next week, November. What's your outlook for online spending during the festive season as we close out the year?
Very, very hard to answer that question. But, and the reason is because I just think that a lot of this year is a bit of a challenging year, in my opinion, because of the macroeconomic headwinds, which have caused a lot of havoc with local currencies and with levels of inflation. So I want to be optimistic, but I think I'd like to be realistic as well on saying, how much is the capacity of consumers today to be able to spend the way they might have spent in previous years.
Well, really appreciate your time. Mr. Akshay Grover, Group Chief Executive Officer of Cellulant. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about your collaboration with Mastercard and payments in general across the African continent. Thank you so much.